I see you. Yeah. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Living Level. Myself, David Price, my co-worker here, T. Bailey. We're here at Sam Todd again with another guest. Our guest today is Brother Barron Brown. I'd like to welcome him to the Living Level, and we're just going to jump right into it. And I'll let Brother Brown kind of give us a background on himself, what he does for a living, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm Barron Brown. I'm actually a college professor. I teach marketing and analysis, and I finished my PhD a little over a year ago, and started teaching a year before I finished, and then so that's what I do for a living. I know looking at me, you might not be able to tell that, but I really didn't have a choice. Where I was raised, I was a country boy. I didn't really have no choice in that. God blessed me with a little bit of intelligence,
fully functional brain,
dedication, and I was able to keep going to school. So that's what I do for a living. My Masonic history, I was raised in April 2018, and so what's that? 7 years? Yeah.
So I did PhD.
Yeah. I think if I remember right, I did entered apprentice in February, fellowcraft in March, and masters in April. Because we would only meet once a month, so to be able to call the degrees. So and it's actually Friday the 13th when I was raised. So if you know anything about Masonic history and Knights Templar, that might mean a little tough to you. But, so, what else you need to know, Dave?
Well, your last name Brown.
That's right, yeah.
So you got some bloodlines in Masonry too.
Yeah, so I figure y'all probably was going to ask what led me to Masonry or what. I've been watching some of the other videos, so.
We figured your daddy drugged you.
Well, yeah, so the big brother Brown there, my dad that did an episode here a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so I had a Masonic family, really. So my dad was a Mason, his dad was a Mason, his dad was a Mason, his dad was a Mason. So, it was in our family. And then on my mom's side, too, my grandpa Campbell, James Campbell, he was a Mason. And going back to some of them Hansies, they were Masons. So I had a Masonic bloodline, I guess, but I've heard y'all talk about on these podcasts before that, they say, well, back in the day, we really didn't talk a lot about Masonry, and that's kind of changed, and we may get into that a little bit later, but even when I was a kid growing up, Dad really didn't talk a whole lot about it, and I think that was probably because that's how it was when he come up. I knew he was a Mason. And I knew my grandpa was a Mason and my great-grandpa was a Mason from listening to him talk, but I really didn't necessarily know a whole lot about it or anything like that. And when I was young, he worked all over the country, so he really didn't go to lodge a whole lot. He was working all the time. I guess about the time I was in probably 10th grade or so, he was back home and started getting more active in lodge, which was about the time we were here at Sam Todd, we're kind of going on the downhill slope. You remember that, T? And when they was calling in people to kind of come back in, and that's when he was happened to be home and started going back. So it was a good time in my life. I was older, and it's kind of what's that about? Seeing what was happening. But I really didn't start, getting interested in it until I was a little bit older. I came up to a couple of open meetings with him when I was a senior, and a couple fellas told me whenever I was interested in it, just come and talk to them. I asked Dad kind of about that, and he told me, he said, well, we don't recruit. You have to ask us. And he kind of told me, he said, sometimes it might be hard for a young fella to maybe get in lodge, and I took that as maybe he thought I was a little too young at that time. So I went on to college, and when I was getting ready to graduate with my undergraduate degree, I told him that I would like to join lodge, and he got me a petition, and we got that started. But But I don't think that was a bad thing. I mean, going through, though, that was from when I was 18 to 22. I mean, you grow up a lot in those years. You quit making as dumb a decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I'd been around Masons my whole life. I mean, being around my family, of course, but I mean, there were so many other folks that I knew that were Masons, and I knew they were good people, and they were just old country boys that were good folks. And for the folks listening, you hear all these old conspiracy theories of, it's a devil worshiping organization. Where I knew all these guys, and I knew they went to church, and I knew they were Christian men, and I certainly knew they wouldn't be involved in anything like that. So I had no drawbacks about joining. I mean, the unknown, of course, you're always kind of curious about what you're going into, but I knew it wasn't anything bad. It had to be something good. And that's what really drew me to it. Yeah, it was a family history, but I saw qualities in my dad and my grandpa and those other men I knew. Said, well, this has to be something pretty good. So I kind of need to figure out what's going on here. I figured I was old enough and mature enough when I asked to be able to do that. And I'll tell you the truth. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I didn't do it right when I was in high school, because I think it made me, I guess I don't say understand it more, but you kind of already sowed some of those wild oats, and you kind of get the lessons that we teach you in here a little bit better and take it more to heart, I guess.
Yeah. Now you sat in master's chair in this lodge, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually sat master last year. Yep, I did. And master is you think you know how to be master until you're actually master. And then you realize there's a whole lot of responsibilities on you. But we had it was a challenging year for me as master. Not so much with the lodge, but things were going pretty good, and then Dad got sick that year, But I actually I missed one meeting that year because of that, and I'm thankful that was the only meeting I had to miss. But everybody in this lodge and all around the state, Masons stepped up to help me and my family in that time when he was going through that, and that's so I say it was challenging, but we had a couple challenging months. All in all, it was a good year. We had good meeting, good fellowship, good food, and was able to, like I said, when we come back, I was able to sit in lodge with my dad again, which was I didn't know if I was ever going to get to do that again, So, I've heard y'all talk about what are some of the benefits of Masonry, right, on podcasts, and that's different for everybody. For me, it's the folks I've met and the friendships I've made. And so when I decided I was going to do a PhD, when I decided where I was going to go, first thing I did was send the Secretary of Lodge up there an email. Said, hey, we'd like to visit. And me and Dad and Robert Sanders took off. We went up there and visited that lodge probably about a month before I started, and that was a COVID year. So we had shut down for several months, and then we had just kind of got back going, and we were trying to figure that out, navigate that new way of doing things in the lodge at that time. But we went up there and met some of those guys, and it's like immediately you had connections in a place that you knew you didn't know anybody, right? And that's the benefit for me of all the people that you get to meet. And I've been fortunate enough to go to lodge and all over the United States in several different states. And every time I'm somewhere new, I try to, if I can, go visit a lodge and just see them folks and see how things are done there.
Yeah.
But it's always, you always meet a Mason and you have a connection, and so you always, it's a brotherhood. So, I mean, you always kind of know you've been through the same thing, and you have an immediate connection. And they seem just as happy for me to be there as I was to be there, And I got real involved when I was doing my PhD in the northern part of the state. Met a lot of guys up there, got real involved in their lodge goings and degree works up there. Was able to go to a lot of lodges in North Louisiana and realized that a lot of those lodges face the same things we do here. You're just trying to keep the doors open and get new members and keep things rolling.
Yeah.
And figured out that the majority of lodges across the state, they just like us. They just old country boys trying to keep their lodge going, you know. And it's a.
So you don't see any lodges trying to take over the world or anything?
Well, if they are, they're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have not done too well at that. Yeah. And so far, nobody's approached me and told me the plan. So if there is a plan to take over the world, somebody needs to get some guys together and get this moving because
let's start rallying the troops here.
It's taken several thousand years and we ain't got anywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, not only was you master of this lodge, but you also, the year that Brother Terry Fowler was Grand Master, you was his assistant aide, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was. Me and
which I mean made Sam Todd pretty proud.
Yeah. Well, Terry, I actually met Terry before I got in lodge. So when I graduated high school, when I was talking about a while ago, before I actually joined lodge, but the Grand Lodge gives out scholarships to students each year, and Terry was actually the one that had told Dad that, you know, Barron, in order to apply for this, he's going to school, and like our thing was, well, you know, hey, it's not necessarily based on financial need or anything like that. It's just there's not a lot, you know, whoever applies, and so I went to him, was able to get the application. He helped me through that, and I actually got a scholarship from the Grand Lodge for my 4 years of undergrad degree. Each semester they gave me, I can't remember exactly how much money, but it was a significant amount that they gave me each year to help me through school. So I had met Terry back then, and then of course being in lodge, and he asked me to do that year, and I think a big part of that was because he was from down here, and he, you know, when you're Grand Master, you travel all over the state, but I had a lot of friends in the northern part of the state, and didn't necessarily maybe know Terry as good as we did, and they knew me and said, well, you know, if Barron thinks he's a good guy, he's probably all right. But yeah, no, that was a good year, and I was proud to do that for Terry. Terry's a good man, and I was proud to represent him. Most of that wasn't down here in my home district. It was up there when I was in the northern part of the state where I was going to school. And it was really kind of funny because the first time I had went, being one of his appointed officers there, they all looked at me and said, "What are you doing in a suit?" And I said, "Well, you know, hey, important."
Got my tie on.
Yeah. But no, I was proud to do that for Terry. I think Terry did. Terry's a good man.
Oh yeah,
Terry's
outstanding guy.
Very, very good man. Helped a lot of folks in Masonry.
Our third Grand Master from Sam Todd.
Yeah. Hired Ziegler, Tom Pittman, and Terry Fowler. Yeah, who would have thought it, huh?
Who would have thought it? We got a place for you up there one day.
Yeah. Maybe one day when I retire.
And then after that, after you got all that behind you, now you serve the 10th District Lodge as senior deacon.
Senior deacon, yeah. So that was another deal. I started in 2018, and then I had started getting real involved in the district and appendant bodies, and then in 2020 I'd moved to the northern part of the state to do my PhD. So a lot of what I was doing, I kind of had to back out. And even in my home lodge here, I was junior warden, but I stepped out of the line because I knew I wasn't going to be here. Same thing in the district. I was kind of moving through the district line at that time, and I had to kind of put that on hold because I wasn't down here anymore to do that. But now that I'm back, I'm back in my home area, I'm able to do some of that. I was always involved in Masonry. It just was in a different part of the state, I guess. I I always stayed in Sam Todd. Everywhere I went, I signed the book Sam Todd. I always kept, because I knew I was coming home. That's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to get as much education as I could, and I wanted to come home. I was proud to be from Dry Creek in this little town, and I knew I wanted to raise my kids here. And when I went to college, some people thought maybe we was at a disadvantage from being from a little town like this, but I never found that. I always found that I was in pretty good shape, being from a little small country town, a small country school. I still feel that way, and I knew I wanted to come back. And that's why I was never, some folks they move or whatever, they may demit from a lodge and join a different lodge or something, but I always knew I was coming back. And thankfully, God's blessed me, and I've been able to do it. And getting more involved like I was, it's a little bit harder now with a new baby and having a wife. But, when I went to do my PhD, I was a single man. I didn't have anything to do, so I was going to lodge 3 nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then usually I was doing degrees on the weekends up there. So, but now it's a little bit harder to, I guess, divide your time evenly between work and family and still trying to be active in life. I'm probably not as active as I was at one time with all the different lodges I was going to. Well, I know I'm not because I was going to so many, but I try to focus on my home lodge and the appendant bodies that I'm a member of.
Which appendant bodies do you?
I'm a member of the Scottish Rite and the Shrine and the York Rite as well. Well, so that was another a COVID deal. I started going through the York Rite degrees, and when COVID happened, it shut them down. And I got to a certain point in there, and then with going to school, I didn't finish, but got back involved in that, got that moving where I can go ahead and finish those degrees out.
You have to come down to the shrine with us then.
Yeah, so that was I'd see that's the thing.
We went in together, me and you and your dad.
Yeah, I know. And then I like I said, I used to do all that, and then when so I tell everybody all that stuff is a habit, right? Just going to your lodge meeting, it's a habit, and it's easy to break. So if you and everybody's got stuff to do, we all got lives, especially like young fellas, you working but staying in the habit of going keeps you going. And the Shrine was the first one I actually joined. For the first appendant bodies, Shrine and Scottish Rite. But all those are good organizations. I've been, I don't know if y'all have told the listeners here that, I assume they know appendant bodies. You all have to start out at the Blue Lodge. I don't know if y'all hit on that before or not.
I think we did just real quick. We didn't really go in depth with it.
Well,
because that's what a lot of people that I've ran into in the past that have a poor outlook on Masonry.
They like Shrine.
And then you ask them what they think about the Shrine. Well, they're great people. They do great stuff.
All Shriners are Masons.
You have to be a Mason to be a Shrine first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyway, I do need to start going back, which, I'm trying getting back involved, and that's the thing when I say it's a habit. When you get stuff going, it's just easy to say, I've been doing this, and you can burn yourself out in Masonry, and I guess that's a good thing, but you can get so active where it's like, and when I was single, it was good for me. I was a single man. I was doing my PhD, which was essentially a full-time job. So at the end of the day, I could go to lodge, I could visit with some guys, we could do degree work, and that's kind of how my life was. And you get married and buy a house and have a youngin', and all that stuff starts piling up where you're trying to really, I always heard those folks talk about being able, and we teach folks to divide their time. Well, I always had I did whatever I wanted. And now I realize I can't do that so much anymore.
That's how it gets for a lot of people. Work, home, kids. I'm blessed. My daughter's grown. she's married. She's on her own. It's just me and my wife. I got a very supportive wife.
I drag him everywhere.
And yeah, he grabs me by the overhaul strap and says, "Come on, cuz, we're going."
Well, so
I enjoy it.
You know, I've heard guys talk about that, but my wife is very supportive of my Masonic journeys. I mean, when I met her, she knew a little bit about it, but not so much. And she had already knew I was a pretty good fellow. Well, in her eyes, I was, so she knew it couldn't have been anything too bad. And she's very supportive of.
She had to come down and talk to everybody.
Yeah. Well, and like my year as master here, I mean, she supported me every meeting. Come up here and help with the food, help fix.
Her,
I mean, yeah, she
Miss Rachel,
yeah, she very supportive of all my Masonic journeys. So she was kind of the same way. She knew the Shriners did good work, and then learned a little bit more about that from me, and so I'm pretty lucky in that case. I know some people, their wives might be aggravated at them if they was gone for this and that, but she's not. Oh well, he's going to lodge. So
mine tells me I just can't get grouchy if I don't get enough sleep.
But no, she's been very supportive. Very, very supportive. Which is a good thing because it makes it easier for us, right? If you have a supportive wife, it makes it easier for you. You don't have to. It's not like a tug of war if you feel like you're doing.
Can't do it without them.
No, it's she's been very supportive with really everything I do, and especially Masonry. So I'm thankful for that. And thankful for that year I was master. Not only was she supportive of me as master, she was with everything going on with Dad in that time. It was a truly at a young point in our marriage, we faced a lot of difficulties, and we kind of got hit with the world pretty quick, of different things that happened to us throughout our young relationship. But we tell each other it's not necessarily a bad thing. We made it through some hard times. We faced them already. So, a lot of people don't have to face that till 15, 20 years into their marriage.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, now that you're trying to get back on track and you're back home and everything, do you have any Masonic aspirations? Like, do you see yourself going through district?
So
maybe up into the Grand Line? Or,
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
We do.
I'm just going to answer that for him.
We do.
I don't necessarily have any aspirations. I'm proud just being just a Mason from Sam Todd. I mean, if folks saw fit to put me in that one day in the long future from here, because I don't have time right now, but I would try to serve as best I could. But no, I don't have any aspirations. I'm proud just being a Master Mason, Sam Todd. I'm proud to be a part of all the dependent bodies, but the highest degree you're ever going to reach is Master Mason, right? And I hear people, oh, you just hadn't got the conspiracy yet. That's wait till the big one. I said, I'm pretty done been through all of them.
They hang out with all the big ones.
Yeah, they still hadn't told me about it.
Yeah.
So, but no, I don't necessarily have any aspirations. I mean, if I serve wherever I'm needed, that's kind of the way I think about it. And I'm happy with our little lodge here. We're doing a lot of good things, and I enjoy what we're doing. I really do.
I think Eric Bailey, when you
come in, I believe he
come
was.
in, I believe so, because I was secretary, and Barron. For those that don't know, when you join a lodge, there's some material you got to learn, and Barron, James sat there with him, but Barron asked and answered the questions himself flawlessly. Don't think he thinked anything. Pressed everybody, and he recited his masters. He got a thing from the Grand Lodge on the wall in there where he recited his masters in open lodge, which not very many people have done since I've been a member here. There's very, very, very few of those that hang on the wall here. So that's something for Sam Todd to brag about too. Mm-hmm. And we depend on him whenever he's around. Certain aspects of the degree. can't nobody do it like Barron Brown. So, it just, that young mind and a photographic memory.
Yeah, I wish I had a photographic memory. No, I learned all that because I was interested in it, and I knew I wanted to participate and do degree work, and I didn't learn all of that stuff to say that I learned it. I did it because I wanted to use it. I wanted to give back, and I enjoy laws, enjoy doing degree work, and a lot of that time I spent in North Louisiana, that's what it was. It was helping them out with degrees, and they called on me because I was able to do some things, and that's what I enjoy. I still enjoy it.
You went on after all that. Maybe it was because of all the degree work you did in the north part of the state, but you're a level 3 certificate holder, ain't you?
Yeah. I can't remember when I got the level 3, but I've had it for several years. It wasn't too long after I got raised.
And then I think you just redid it again, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you got to redo it every 2 years.
Yeah, every 2 years you got to read it.
Now, what all does that consist of?
Well,
not to give all the secrets away, but
there's just some things we do here in Masonry, the degree work and opening and closing lodge and stuff like that. You have to know how to do all of that, all 3 degrees, things like that. But again, I didn't do that to get a level 3. I learned that stuff because I wanted to do those parts and degrees and be able to serve and help out. And then I can't remember exactly how it came about. One day somebody said, well, why don't you go for a level 3? I said, why?
It's probably Ray Moses.
I don't really need that. And she said, well, you know it all anyway. All you got to do is get it. And I said, well, I never really thought about it like that. It wasn't like an aspiration. Oh, I want to be a level 3. Kind of like a PhD, and I got one. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm proud of it. It's helped me be able to do the career I want to do. And that level 3 is just, I already knew it because I wanted to do degrees. And I got it, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to try to keep it up,
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be from Sam Todd and have that. I like to make our little lodge proud. We just a bunch of old country boys here.
Yeah, you show up and you look around, and most people probably think, ain't no way this is going to be any good.
Well, they might think that. Just like most people, when me and Rachel are doing something, whatever we're doing, if we got to buy something or whatever, and they'll ask me, well, what you do for a living? I'll say, I'm a professor. They'll go, hey, I don't know what to tell you.
You see him pull up in the yard in his 4-wheel drive with a dog box and a CB antenna.
Yeah. I go park that Toyota full of mud in the parking lot of the state either. Okay. But hey, I didn't have a choice, right? I was raised by country folk.
Did you say at one time you taught a class in rubber boot?
I did.
I thought so.
I did actually. So I went. This is funny. I'd been running my deer hound, and I had to go back up to school, and I'd left running dogs that day. I went straight up there, and I come in. I still had blood on my rubber boots when I walked in. I walked in there, and I was still a student at the time, and that's what that professor, he just kind of laughed at me. I said, I'm here. But I'm just an old country boy, But that's all right. I think it's got me. It's helped me in life, there's a lot of stuff you learn being a kid here, and especially from parents that I was fortunate to be able to go to school all those years. I had a lot of help doing that. I was blessed. I had a good family who supported me. All my folks worked in oil refineries and plants, and my whole life from the time I was a kid, my dad told me, you will not do this. I don't care what you do, but you're going to school. He said, if you get done with school and then you decide that you want to go into one of these plants, you can, but I don't want you to have to. And so it was never, like I said, I was just blessed. School always came relatively easy to me. I worked at it, but like the memorization stuff you're talking about, I was blessed with a good mind, or adequate mind. You can say good mind, but I was able to do that,
Pretty
and
good.
I had a lot of support going through that. And one of the things I was involved in before I left for a few years was giving our scholarships each year that we do here at Sam Todd. You know, we give, I don't know if y'all told that yet, but we give
I don't think we've talked about that.
we give honesty and integrity award along with a little bit of money to 2 students from East Boulevard and 2 students from Fairview. And we call it a scholarship, but they don't really apply for it like in the traditional sense of a scholarship. We approach the teachers and the principals there and say, you know, pick us some students that exhibit these qualities, and we give them a little bit of money, but it's not tied to going to school. If they're going to school, to university, to trade school, or going to work, they get the money. But I really enjoyed going and giving those because I always give the same speech. Don't ever feel like you had a disadvantage coming from a small school in a small town, because you've got a lot of things going for you. Generally, you learned how to work. You got a good work ethic, and you don't think you're better than anybody. You're just trying to go forward in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And that's always seemed to help me. And I ain't saying I went far in the world. I didn't. But I'm saying that we learn, kids here seem to learn a lot of values, I guess, that maybe aren't prevalent in society as much anymore, maybe, of just hard work, work ethic, we say honesty and integrity, but I mean, just like kids raised here, that's it. They really don't have a choice, I mean, they around folks who work for a living and have to, they kind of learn that at a young age. And that's helped me anyway. I mean, it was, I knew everything I wanted to do in life, like as far as school, I had to work for it. Thankfully, I had support to be able to do that, but, I'm proud to be from a little place like this.
That's why I moved back.
Which is why I said when my wife and I got married, said, well, I think I want to live in Dry Creek. And I brought her here, and she said, she's from Monroe. And she said, oh, I think I could live. I mean, she was raised in a subdivision in a cul-de-sac. I didn't even know what a cul-de-sac was. Well, I said, yeah, she thinks that. But no, we was able to buy a place where my closest neighbor is my mom and dad. And, well, technically my closest neighbor is my mom and brother, but the next closest neighbor is mom and dad. Took Rachel to that old house, and she's the one that actually found it for sale. And we went and looked at it, and I said, this is it. And she said, nah. I said, oh, yeah. This is, yep. She said, I said, look, it's got potential. Just give it a little time. But we've been fortunate. A lot of work, but we've made it into a place, and that's what we wanted to raise our youngins here and give them just a simple life. That's all I ever wanted. I just wanted a simple life where I was from, because I'm 100% proud to be from here. I have never thought of it as a drawback, nothing like that. And I always told them kids that when I gave the Honesty and Integrity Award speech, because they going from East Boulevard or Fairview, especially if they go into school, and it doesn't matter wherever they go to school. I went to McNeese, got 2 degrees from McNeese. But even when I went to McNeese, I mean, you had kids coming from bigger schools that had way more college hours and all kinds of stuff, more than we did. And you perceive that you might be at a disadvantage, but you most certainly are not. And that's something I really enjoyed. And I thought it also helped at that time, it helped kind of get the lodge, not in the limelight, but in the community, kind of show what we were doing. Somebody go up there and be a representative from the lodge.
Do you think it's better to, or do you think it's helped, or would help, has helped the lodge, or would it benefit other lodges if they were more personal to their community? We do a lot of community outreach work. So do you think making Masonry personal, like you're a professor, we both work for the sheriff's office, we're all from a small town. It ain't just a bunch of rich guys.
No, no, it's most certainly not. No.
People from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Do you think that helps lodges?
I do.
To personally.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because there may, and I don't know if it's so much anymore, but at one time I think there might have been a perception that that Masonry was for rich, important people. Well, all they got to do is come here, and they'll find that ain't none of us rich and ain't none of us important. So, but and I've heard y'all say before that y'all kind of had a conversation about advertising Masonry. Well, so what I was going to say, it's been kind of thinking about it. We do advertise, we just don't recruit. And I think a lot of people might confuse the two, but we do advertise. When we get out of the bed in the morning, we're advertising, right? By our character and our actions. But even that, I mean, you can go look at my vehicle there in the parking lot. I got Masonic stickers all over the back of it. I mean, I wear my Masonic ring every day. So I'm letting people know that I'm a Mason. And every now and then when I got to put on a suit, I have a lapel pin. I got a Masonic lapel pin. We do advertise. And I think that's a good thing, which you're talking about being personal in the community. I think letting the community know that Masonry is still here, Masonry is still active, and we are trying to do things. And that is one of our main cornerstones as Masons is charity and to help out each other and the less fortunate. And letting people know that we're here and we do that, I think is a good thing. We kind of have a harder time here than some of the other lodges I've been a part of because they're in the center of a town. And I don't know if the folks that listen to this know this, but we are in the center of a crossroads. Not much of a town here, so.
Used to be.
Barely got a stop sign.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have to everybody has to make a conscious effort to be involved in the community, but it's a little bit harder for us because our community is rural, right? We're spread out. Versus if we were in the center of the town, we could kind of have more, I guess, influence in businesses and people see us. But we kind of have to make everybody has to make a conscious effort. It's just we have to really get out there and show different community events that we're there.
Were you, talking about where we're located in our little small town and stuff, were you here when Brother Keith Powell came the other night?
No, I was not.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you wasn't here. I'm going to ask you this question. Because he asked a question. And since you're a younger guy and you've done some world traveling and you belong to this little old country lodge, he asked us the question. He said, if the Grand Master showed up, took your charter off the wall, and left, and this lodge did not exist anymore, would you be missed? Do you think that if Sam Todd closed tomorrow, we would be missed?
I do. I believe we would be missed. I certainly would. I'd miss it, and I think a lot of the brothers would miss it. That come here, but I do. I think we would, and we've gotten better about that in the last couple of years of being kind of more involved. And I've heard different people on here before talk about, in the 30s and 40s and 50s, life was a little bit slower. You didn't have everything we have going today. You went to church, you went to lodge, you went to work. Used to a fella go work 8 hours a day, come home, be able to afford a house, his wife stayed at home. Well, we're in today's world, we can't do that. Right. And where we live, specifically where we live, we have to go somewhere else to make a living. I mean, even y'all work for the sheriff's office, but right here where we live, we don't make a living here. We have to go somewhere bigger, right? But our lives are just so more, they're busier today. And I think used to, it was, I don't say easier, but it's just life wasn't so fast, and people that it was part of it. And then as life got fast, I ain't gonna say Masonry, we have not been forgotten, but with the times changing and life getting fast, we not as involved in the community, but we've got better about that in the last few years, trying to get our name back out there, I guess, so to speak, and let people know we're still here. We've been here for thousands of years, and we're not going. Do you think we would do this?
I would hope we would be.
I would be.
I think we would be.
I think we would.
I think we
personally,
would.
Yeah, I know we would be. But
I
would definitely hope that we've made such a significant impact in our area that people would be calling people wanting to know why.
That's what I think. Yeah, what's going on? I think that for sure. I know we'd be missed by me, But just the community in general, I think there would be people calling and saying, what's happening? Why are y'all not there? And I've heard some people on here talk that they, knew a lodge was here, really didn't know what was going on. But we've got better about that too. And, when Dad did his episode, he was talking about how they really didn't talk about it and stuff. And like I said earlier, he really didn't talk a whole lot about it. Me, like when I first came up here, like I didn't know that I could come. No, I really didn't. And now we tell, hey, come on, we'll show you the lodge, we'll show you around. We're very, which you always could do that. I think it was just maybe it was more secretive than it had to be, maybe, or it's not. And with social media in today's world, so much is going on with that. We're advertising on there too with all of our pictures and things we're doing. And we had a guy I went to school with. The reason he's a member here now because he saw me in a picture of my apron on social media and said, "Hey, I didn't know you was involved in that." Yeah, and that's how it started. So, being a marketing professor at Lodge asked me that North Louisiana if they thought it would be a good idea for us to advertise. And that's where I got my little adage, we do advertise, we just don't recruit. I don't think we should recruit, but I think we are doing a better job at advertising. I mean, used to you kind of knew a fellow was a Mason if he told you or if he had a ring or something, but I mean now go look at our Facebook pages. We got pictures of aprons, we got square and compasses as a profile picture, we got it on our vehicles. We're doing a good job of letting people know, which I think is a good thing. I think we should do. I mean, I'm proud to be a Mason, and I'm proud of. I don't let people know I'm a Mason because I want them to know I'm a Mason. I do it because I think, well, that's one way that they can know, And you look at a fella and you say, okay, he's a pretty good guy, but if you don't like that buddy I went to school with, I mean, me and him were friends, but we didn't talk every day. He would have never known I was a Mason if it hadn't have been for that picture. So that's a way of. I think that's a good thing.
What do you think? What do you think hurts the lodge the most?
What do you
think?
What do you mean?
What do you think? Is there anything out there you think they could do differently that would help them a little more?
I think we do a good job here at Sam Todd of being pretty laid back. And that's what I think has changed, even in my lifetime that I've noticed. When I was a kid, and I remember Dad, when he was home, and he would say, I think I'm going to go to lodge tonight. I mean, he'd actually put on blue jeans and a good pair of cowboy boots to come to lodge. And now he wears overalls, so we just want a fella to come. So same thing with going to church. I went to church yesterday, and there was a couple of people wearing shorts. And when I was a kid, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good thing. You try to make people more comfortable, and you want to. If you're comfortable, you're going to come. If it's not a hassle, you got guys working, you got stuff you're doing, especially this time of year. The time to work is in the evening. If you get home, you're trying to do something. Hey, nobody wants to come home from working all day, take a shower, put on a 3-piece suit, go to lodge. I say no, but if you want to do that, that's fine. I personally don't want to do that, and I'm glad that I can come here and not have to worry about that. And I think that's a good thing. And I think that, well, for the Masons out there, they'll know what I'm talking about. The regular business meetings, they're boring. Okay, nobody really just gets excited about going to a business meeting, but here I do because we have fun. We eat. We fellowship, and you do that at pretty much every lodge. But even in our business meeting, we're laughing and joking, and we're talking about stuff, and we're trying to make a difference. And I always have a good time coming to lodge, and it's not just, well, let's read the minutes, let's accept the minutes, any old business, any new business, okay, we'll see y'all next meeting. We're always having a good time. And I think that's the thing. People will want to come to the lodge more if they're having a good time, if it's not just, I won't say boring, but y'all know it can get, if you're doing nothing but reading minutes and paying bills, well, that's not really interesting.
No. Okay. Well, I'll put it this way. You've been elected Grand Master of the state of Louisiana.
Oh, come on.
Hypothetically,
Yeah.
is there anything you would change about Masonry? Or
Yeah, there actually is.
Overall.
Well, I can tell. Yeah, so I would say that I'll probably never get elected Grand Master because the first thing I'm gonna tell them is all them black suits y'all are wearing. I'm not wearing that. I'm wearing blue jeans. So y'all fall in behind me if y'all want to. That's what I do. But no, I think all of our Grand Line officials have done a good job in the last few years of really getting out there and trying to show people what we do. And when I first got in, that was kind of the thing. I was like, we can tell people about this stuff. Like, this is...
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret. Yeah, okay, everybody says we're a secret organization. Not really. We got a sign out there that says when we meet, we post on Facebook, hey, this is when we're meeting. We wear rings. We wear lapel pins. We're not a secret organization. We have some secrets within our organization, but that's just so I can go around the world and identify another Mason. We're not a secret organization. And a lot of the stuff we do is not secret. It's good stuff, and we need to let people know that. And I think we've done that in the last few years. Yeah. So would there really be anything I'd change other than the dress code? Probably not. I think that's because we've done a good job of letting people know this is what we do. We have specific charities, and if you look at how much money Masonry gives to different charities today throughout the United States, I encourage the people who watch this to do that. I think they will be shocked how much money we actually give. And each state has different charities, ours is the dyslexia program, which is really taken off, which is great for us. But that's just something like we've been doing that, and I'm not going to say people didn't know, but maybe we didn't do as good a job as letting people know as we do now. And now,
keeping it in the shadows instead of putting it in the light.
Yeah, and I think all of our people in the Grand Lodge have realized that in the last few years that hey, we need to let people know about this stuff, and you totally do all that without soliciting members. We don't do that. We don't need to do that. We want quality members to approach us of their own free will, but we can still let people know this is what we do. So they might say, well, that's not a conspiracy. That's a pretty good thing they got going there, and would then want to approach us to join. And I think we've done a much better job of that in when I say in my lifetime, because now I think a lot of people know, to be one asshole. Yeah. We got that out there. Come to the lodge. Come eat with us. Come visit with us. We'll show you around the lodge. And when I was a kid, that really, I did not know I could come up here until I was a senior in high school when we had an open meeting and Dad said, you want to go with me? And my question was, can I? Yeah. And I think that made him realize then, okay, maybe I've not done as good a job of.
Yeah.
But that's how it was, when he was ready. But I think we've made significant progress in that regard. Which you got to be careful too. I know a lot of people. I've heard some people say that we should recruit in the sense that they know somebody that would be a good Mason, and they say, "Well, I can't approach them." I think people maybe misconstrue that. We don't recruit as like we're not going out there throwing petitions out. We don't have a stack of them, but there's nothing that says if I know you and I think you're a good fellow, I can't invite you to the lodge to come eat. Yeah. I'm not asking you to be a Mason. I'm asking you to come visit with us and eat with us, and I'm kind of planting that seed without recruiting you. Yeah. I'm not actively recruiting you. I'm not asking you to be a Mason. I'm saying, hey, come visit with us. Come drink coffee with us. Let me show you around the lodge. And also, for me anyway, when they say, well, a guy has to approach you, when a guy asks a question about it, that's what they're doing. When they say, what's that? They're giving you an open invitation to let them know what you can let them know. This is what we do. Come visit with us. and then go ahead and tell them, we don't recruit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to approach us, and that way they know that. Because, we all know what be one, ask one means.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure that everybody in the community knows it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems self-explanatory, but at the same time, let's think about it. It's a shadowy world over there. What does that mean? Maybe that's a big secret. No, to be one, if you want to be one, ask one of us. That's what it means, what do y'all think about that? You agree or disagree?
I'd agree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes keeping it the shadows, just cut your hand off or spot your face.
Well, I don't think anybody wants Masonry to be in the shadows, and I don't think they ever intended that to be the case. I just think that's how back in the day. I think life got so busy that it became that way. I think years ago, the Masonic Lodge was a vital part of the little community in which it was situated, and like I said, people went to work, they went to church, they went to lodge, and that's kind of how life evolved. Or what
little boom town.
Yeah, and then as times change and we've got busy with kids, and kids have so many more activities now, and you're doing this and doing that, and people are working all over the place, and it's not the little small community, I think it's, like you say, got in the shadow. I don't think it was never an intention. It's just the way it kind of
wound up getting overlooked.
Yeah. Well, maybe not so much overlooked, but just that we weren't as vital or a vital part of the community like we used to be, not because we didn't want to be, just because of, even in this lodge, think about how many members we have that are all over the place. Like we don't make our lives here anymore. Whereas used to, we'd have been, logging in the woods or we were all right here. Now we're all over the place. So maybe I don't say overlooked, but it's just never intended for it to be like, ooh, this is a shadowy organization. It's just that over time, it kind of became, I guess, not, I won't say not vital, because I think we were always vital to the community. It just wasn't as big a part anymore because the community kind of moved, right? Like when this lodge was started, the community was here.
Right.
And people come from but this is where the big town was, and now it's spread out. And I think that's happened in every little town where a lodge is all those little boom towns have they're not booming anymore,
Well, what do you think the reason we've been here 150 something years?
Well,
what do you think the reason why you think we're still here?
Because
this little boom town ain't booming.
I think you got dedicated men who are dedicated to keeping this lodge going. Because y'all know just as well as I do, it takes a conscious effort to keep this lodge going. And we make a lot of effort to get out into the community and do things, but just to keep the doors open of a lodge takes a conscious effort. And we've already talked about how easy it is to get out of the habit of going. But there's people that's been here that knows that this lodge needed to continue. So when we faced difficult times, members started calling each other saying, hey, we're kind of going downhill. We need to start, and we've come back strong. And I seriously doubt that that's the only time we faced that throughout history. I bet you in other times, if we could be a fly on the wall, that they've had similar issues where they needed to kind of revamp. But same thing. Why Masonry's existed thousands of years, and every place I've been to, I've told them all the same thing. I said, well, where I'm from in Louisiana, this is all the same. It's just a little bit, And you being from Kentucky, that it's all the same. But for it to stay that close for that many years is amazing to me. Even if in other, for it to be that similar for thousands of years. Just think about how amazing that is for it to really survive that long.
It's amazing to me from America itself, from George Washington till now. It stayed almost exactly the same. And then you open it up to the world and go back thousands of years, and it's pretty much stayed the same.
Stayed the same. That's amazing to me. It really is. But yeah, I mean, you can get off on rabbit trails on that. You know, look at Masonic connections and founding fathers, and you know, and that's where the conspiracy.
Well, you can make a rabbit trail out of anything.
Yeah, you know, but
you dig for it.
I really believe that that is Masonry was just a organization where people could meet and discuss things, and at that particular time, it was, well, we're tired of paying taxes to England, and you know, they could talk about it, and that's, I think, how that kind of conspiracy-ish got started. It was started by, it was just like-minded guys who had an avenue to be able to talk without somebody being like, oh, they're call King George. They're exactly. You know, that's really how I think that. But even today, I mean, that's what I love about Lodge. I mean, we don't talk about religion. We don't talk about politics. We come in and we may not necessarily agree on everything, but we can have an intelligent conversation and talk and discuss, and that's why I think Masonry has lasted so long, because it teaches you some of those things. I mean, without getting, I guess, too deep into, you know, our secrets. You know, people say, oh, it makes good men better. I don't necessarily think that. I think Masonry makes you want to be a better man. Like, I can't say, David, you are going to be a better man because you are a Mason. I think the lessons we learn in here makes you want to be a better man. And there's several times, you know, where I'll be doing something in particular, and I'll look down at my ring and kind of remember some of that stuff. You know, we all have challenges as men. One of mine is a temper. It always has been. You know,
you didn't get that from anybody, did you?
No, I tell everybody our little baby, she's got a temper, and I say, she acts just like Rachel. She got Rachel, and that's what the other day one of my uncles said, I think we know where the temper might come from, the Brown side. I said, well, maybe, but, you know, something will aggravate me, and my first instinct is to throw a fit, and then I'll kind of say, well, you know, I might not, or, all right. I wear that, so I told you before, I don't wear my ring to let other people know I'm Mason. That's sure, if another Mason sees it, they might talk to me, but every now and then I need to look down at that square and compass and remember some of that stuff I promised, and it helps me, just me anyway. I can look down at it, say, well, you know, maybe I ought not do that.
But the discussion got brought up in Kentucky one time, how you wear your ring.
Yeah, either to you or to...
Yeah, that's how it was told to me. If you wear it to you, it reminds you you're a Mason. Yeah. If you wear it to the world, it reminds them you're a Mason.
I've heard the same thing, and I've seen people wear it all different ways, and I don't think it really matters.
Most people just wake up and
put it on. But no, I do. I wear mine like that because there's been several times that I particularly something, and I'd look, and it would just kind of remind me, hey, let's stop and think about how would that look, you know, we all face challenges, and I think at the heart of it, every guy that comes in here has a good heart or has charity in their heart, and you want to be better. But at the same time, we all have, I guess, challenges and things that we face each day. But just like it's a conscious effort to make it's a conscious effort when we wake up in the morning to decide that we're going to be better than we were yesterday, right? I mean, we have to want that, and I think Masonry does that, and or at least gives you the tools to be able to do it. That's just my opinion. I've talked to Masons from all over the country. Everybody's got different reasons. It means something different to everybody. It's just like Bible scriptures. Everybody can interpret them a little bit different, and how it's whatever you're feeling that specific day, you know. And some people would say, oh, well, you can't misinterpret the Bible. Well, I don't know. I say I'm misinterpreted, but I mean, when you read a scripture, depending on what state of mind you're in, if you read a scripture, it may mean something different to you today when you're sad versus when you're happy.
Yep.
And that's what I mean by that is, we're kind of clouded by our perceptions of things, and we wake up in the morning and say, okay, well, I'm going to be better than I was yesterday, and whatever that includes. And I'm certainly not a great example. You know, I face stuff every day. Like Rachel tells me all the time, she, calm down. All right. I mean, but that's a deal with me. Everybody's got their own challenge that Masonry can help them with, and it doesn't have to be Masonry. I'm just saying it does give you a, I don't know, see how should I word that? It gives you the tools to be able to overcome some of the challenges you face as a man, I guess. Because I've never met anybody that was perfect or that say that, oh, I don't have struggles or I don't have something in my life that I can admit that is a weakness about myself. And some people have more than others, but I think that's a good, self-awareness. That's another thing. It makes you become self-aware to say, okay, well, this is a challenge I face or something I might struggle with, and this is how I'm going to be better today. Just me, though,
Well said.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Do you have any words for anybody that may be on the fence about joining? Or I know we asked everybody this.
So if you're on the fence, you've already decided. I mean, so that's how I think about it. If you have contemplated it, you're already there.
Yeah.
And come visit us, and we'll answer questions. I mean, a lot of people think, well, what are they going? We're not going to tell you our few secrets we have left, which is how to recognize each other and some of our, rituals, but we'll pretty much tell you anything we've talked about here. What we do, what we kind of believe, what we look for in a man, we'll show you around the lodge. You can come visit with us, come eat with us, ask us some questions. And in my opinion, if you've already contemplated it in your mind, there's no need to be on the fence. You're already there. You just are afraid of the unknown, which everybody is. But that's the hardest step, is just especially if you don't have a Masonic connection with a close friend or a family member to really kind of approach and say, hey, I'm kind of nervous about what's fixing that, and they can explain it to you. Tell them, come talk to us. And I mean, even me, I told you, I knew Masons that were good men. I had Masons in my family. Even still joining the lodge, you still are kind of afraid of that unknown. You don't know what's fixing to happen. So it's a little bit of mystery, and kind of like, well, what you don't, and if that's what you're afraid of, there's nothing to be afraid of. Every time I'm talking to a candidate in there, anything we fixing to do is not for fun. It's certainly not to make fun of you or make you feel bad. We've all done it. We've all been there. Every man sitting in that room has done the exact same thing, and it all has a significance which you will understand at the end of this. So there's no need to be on the fence. If you've already contemplated it, you've already decided that for some reason you want to check that out, and come talk to us. And everybody's got different reasons for wanting to know about Masonry. But I will say, if you think it's going to get you far in life, come talk to us. Well, if that's your reason, I advise you maybe, but if you want to be a part of a good organization with good people, enjoy good fellowship, and be able to go all over the world and meet people and have an instant connection with them, yes, Masonry is for you. If you want it to build power and wealth and find our secret stash treasure, it ain't gonna happen. So,
well, last episode we done found out about the treasures. So
out
there.
Yeah, well, and I hadn't watched that one yet, but I saw that's what it was titled. But yeah, still, like that movie National Treasure, ain't nobody come and told me where the mountain is. I mean, because as soon as they do,
there'll be signs.
Yeah. What are you doing with that boat? Found the treasure. But No, and
Big old dog box.
and I don't, so in my opinion, the treasure in Masonry is different for everybody. To me, it's the relationships I've made. It's the people I've met, the connections I have. I went to lodge in North Carolina, and the closest one that was meeting was about an hour away. And I flew up there, so I had to take an Uber to get there. And I walked in, and when you go to a new lodge, they're like, "Who's this guy?" So you got to start talking. And anyway, like they was just as happy as I. Like they were like, "This guy's from Louisiana, wow," and it was you've been through the same thing, and you can immediately start talking as friends. It takes that, I guess, that little introductory phase out. Yeah. You already passed all that. You got a connection, and you're talking, and everywhere I've ever been has been like that. And I would encourage other Masons that listen to this, if you're somewhere, go to lodge. There's nothing to be scared of. They're going to be just as happy to see you as you are to be there and learn new things. I mean, I've always walked in and said, "Hey, I'm Barron Brown from Louisiana, Sam Todd 182. I just saw y'all was having a meeting tonight and wanted to come visit." And it's no big deal. Think about it. On a regular meeting night, if we was sitting here eating and somebody come in and said, "Hey, I'm from Wisconsin. I just saw y'all was having," we'd be like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah, come on in. So nothing to be scared of. Go visit. Go see how other states do things. It's neat.
We might ask them if they're lost.
Yeah.
But we're still going to accept them. But don't feed them.
All walks of life. Through work, you meet people. I was getting on the plane one time. I can't remember where I was going. But I walked by and a guy saw my ring and he said something to me and I was watching it. I kind of caught me and I said, so I went and I visited with him and he was from, I think, Michigan, and we got to visit and we visited that whole plane ride where we was headed. Yeah. Just stuff like that, But otherwise, I'd have never talked to that fella, just passing him. And that's happened to me so many times. I've just been fortunate to be able to travel. But even here, you can be at a gas station and somebody see your sticker or something, says, and you take a few minutes and visit with them. And it always makes your day a little bit better. Or it does me, anyway. Yeah. Meet somebody, they say something to you, you say something to them, take a few minutes and visit. Kind of reminds you, what's Dad always say, we're everywhere. Yeah. But we are, and that's a good thing. There's still good men out there. So back to the original question, don't be on the fence. Come visit us. Or wherever you at, go visit them. They'll be the same thing we're saying here, they'll do for you. They'll take you around the lodge, they'll show you, they'll answer questions. There's nothing to be afraid of, I promise. But everybody is afraid of the unknown, I guess. Even me, who knew there was nothing bad happening in there, you still didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So you were like, well, but every man sitting in that room has done the exact same thing. And it all has significance. Every single thing we do in that lodge room in the degree has significance that we will explain to you and will understand. What else y'all got?
You got anything? Do we have a sponsor here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll let Barron share this one.
Yeah. Oh, nothing written on the jug today. Not good. Talk about advertising. Not good advertising. This is another gallon of my mother, Tammy's sweet tea. Going to sponsor every episode with sweet tea.
If we get to her in time, anyway.
It's always our fault.
But yeah, I don't know. Sharp tea seems to be quite popular around here. Yeah,
sweetest syrup around.
I can tell you, me and Rachel, we went where we went somewhere. Oh, Chicago. If you ever go to Chicago, they don't have sweet tea there. Okay, so you cross. So I told Rachel I'm staying this direction. But I was. We stayed a week in Chicago, and I thought I was having withdrawals.
Imagine you grew up drinking that.
Yeah, it's pretty stout. It's pretty stout. That's what everybody said. Oh, it's so good, it's so good. I said, yeah, well, you ought to look at the 5-pound bag of sugar she puts in there. That's why it's so good. No, but I can tell you that I said my wife was supportive. I saw throughout my life my mom supported my dad in Masonry too.
She's here every meeting too. Every meeting, even if James didn't make it, she's popped in some of the meetings.
And with that being said, I saw members of this lodge and other lodges when he was sick that reached out to us or her, and we didn't necessarily need anything except prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But they was asking, what could we do? And not all of, there was a lot of people that weren't Masons that were helping out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, is that a benefit? I think that's a testimony to the fraternity and to what you put into the fraternity and what you are as I mean, there's a lot of people that would make good Masons they're walking around out here right now.
Yeah.
They just don't know it yet. But even in lodge, you can be as active as you want to be. You can be a Mason, and we're still going to have that connection that we're talking about. But are you really serving your lodge to the best of your ability? And I get it. People work. I'm faced that time. I have that time issue. We all do. But you don't just join Masonry and then go off.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll always be a Mason, and we'll always be here for you, and you'll always be there for us. But be active.
Yeah.
Come to the meeting. Even if it's nothing but coming to the meeting. And I get, like I said, make your meetings enjoyable. We have a good time. I mean, I can't remember the last time I left here after a business meeting that I wasn't happy. We was always joking and having a good time. And I think everybody would try to do that. You just all getting, I don't say ruts, but like even some of those lodges I've been to, it's just, it's the same old thing. We have our meeting, we pay our bills. And especially if there's nothing new happening, nobody coming in doing degrees or things like that. And you just got to try to do. And I know some lodges try to put on programs and stuff like that, which that's all enjoyable. I mean, it is. But at the end of the day, you want to have fun and you want to feel good when you come here.
Mm-hmm.
And you come visit us. I ain't saying we're a role model to follow, but everybody in there is laughing every time we're in there. So I think you'll have a good time. And if you're not a Mason, and I don't know how many people who aren't Masons actually listen to this, but I don't know how many Masons listen to it. I don't know. For all I know, nobody listens to it except me. I don't know, But come visit us. If you are a Mason, come see us. Third Saturday every month. In fact, we're doing a master's degree Friday night.
Yep.
So
Friday night,
come visit us. And if you're not a Mason and you're thinking about it, or you just want to know a little bit more, we'll be here. Come visit us. Talk to us. We'll answer your questions. We'll go back to what I said a while ago. We're not a secret organization. We're just an organization with some secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good. I have never done anything in that lodge that I am ashamed of, and I've never done anything I would stand up in front of a church and do. So that tells you right there, any of that stuff they talk about in the secret, it's not bad. It's all based on Holy Scripture. Everything is significance, and there's nothing that happens in there that I would be ashamed to stand up in front of anybody and say or do. I'm not going to do that because it's some of our secrets. Yeah, but I'm saying I wouldn't be ashamed of it. Never would be.
I'll agree with that. Anybody got anything to add? Well, with that being said, we'll wrap it up. We're almost an hour and 15 minutes into it.
Oh, hey, that might be the longest one.
It is.
That's what I'm talking about.
You want to stretch a little more?
He just wanted to outdo James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, I might do a second.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's good that y'all kind of do different little things. Like, I don't know what this is going to be titled, Rambling. I don't know. But I think it's good.
Professor.
Yeah. I think it's good that people can see that Masonry, even in our little lodge here, all different walks of life.
Yeah.
Right? You got from the construction worker to the professor, and we're just all country boys here, and that, I mean, but that, you've heard that, that's for world leaders.
Yep.
Well, I've missed. No one's asked me to leave the world yet. So, no, I like what y'all are doing here. I think it's good. I think it shows people that we just old country boys. We having a good time. Come be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're thinking about it, and for the Masons out there, like I said, I know it. I'll go back one more little point on my advertising speech. You advertise every day. So when your daily walks of life, what you're doing, how you treat people, that you're an advertisement for Mason. And I mean, I do make a conscious effort to do that. I try to treat everybody, I try to treat everybody the same. Certainly don't act like I'm better than anybody. And even when I teach a class, some of them students, they can't fathom not calling you doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how they are. Some of them call me Dr. Brown, Dr. B. But I tell them, look, you're grown, you're here to learn, I'm here to teach you, we're going to have a good time. My name is Barron, and I try to treat, everybody just the same. And I think that I'm not saying that I'm specifically doing that because I'm a Mason. I'm just saying that when you get out there, you wake up each day, you're an advertisement for Masonry. And I think we all try to make a conscious effort to live that life, treat people equal, treat people, square, and be the best men we can be. And I hope that is still, I hope we still have impact on folks, especially that don't have Masonic connections. Like, that's the only thing I've always, I don't say worried about, but like if a fella doesn't have a Masonic connection, he may be a little more apprehensive about coming forward because he doesn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's something I don't know really how we can combat that, because if we don't know them and they don't have a Masonic connection, how can we talk to them? But if anybody is listening to me, find you a Mason. Go to the lodge. They will talk to you. For me, it was easy. I had a guy to talk to. I mean, I know you didn't really have any Masons in your family, but T, and you could call him. I mean, so it's still somebody you knew.
Yeah.
And also, more than likely, they probably do know somebody that's a Mason.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to let people know that you don't have to go out there and everybody you meet say, hey, I'm a Mason. But, where you ring, most everybody got stickers on their vehicle. We're pretty good about letting people know that these days. So that way, I always thought that it's not that I'm specifically trying to advertise Masonry. Mainly I do, like I have the stickers and stuff. I'm proud to be a Mason if another Mason sees it. But also, if somebody didn't know that I was a Mason, that's a way they could know and approach me. Just like I told you earlier about my Facebook picture with the apron I had on. That fella sent me a message on Facebook and said, I didn't know you were a Mason. And that's kind of why I guess why I put it out there that I am.
Yeah.
So if somebody didn't know I was a Mason, they know that I am, and they could approach me if they happen to be interested. So that's all I got. Signing off.
Well, with all that being said, I'd like to appreciate everybody for tuning in again. And before we go, I got to ask you to smack that like button, hit the subscribe button, whack that little bell. Until next week, we'll see you on the Living Level.